Hello class, hello students, hello families and homeschool friends, hello art lovers. Today we're going to be painting Japanese cranes with the Sumi art using simple tools. Actually, you can just use a watercolor. We are using tempera cake and watercolor brush. I'm using the number 10 Artist Loft. But you can even use a simple flat brush like this for a lot of these strokes, or just detail brush. So we are going to learn how to use different Japanese Sumi art strokes. Okay, so let's review what is Sumi art. Okay, in the part 1 and 2 of the video, what we studied that it has to do with concentrating on flow, not perfections. So we're concentrating on flow, not perfection. Okay, and it's a Zen meditation type of style of art that is relaxing, peaceful, art from the heart based on principle of harmony. So we are using similar brush strokes to achieve cohesiveness. So this brush stroke right here is the same over and over and over again until with different tones, okay? Different shades and different tones. Actually, this is tone because we're not adding white, so different shades of black. So we're gonna add a little more water or less water and a little more ink or less ink to achieve all these beautiful shades. Okay, so what we have to think about is also placement. So here I have an example where I have some marshmallow plants here, simple ones that I used a simple stroke. Let me just show you really quickly. 1, 2, 3, 4. You can do shorter ones, longer ones. I'm just turning my brush and really quickly doing a simple little marshmallow look of a plant here, flower here. Okay. Here I studied on the reed grass. So the reed grass would be straight down, couple of these straight down flat strokes, and then really skinny little stem and few leaves coming. They're really skinny coming from the reed grass. Okay, we have to think about the placement of all of these different elements I'm gonna put around my crane, how close the moon is or the sun is. And so as you can see here, this is my non-example. So we don't want crowded crane. We don't want too many things on top of the crane. We want to give the crane some space. So this would be nicely spaced, okay? And this would be like crowded too much, okay? So let's try a little practice here with that. So I have a few elements here that I cut out and pre-painted. I have element of water here for our painting. I have a little ashram, a little temple. I've got my crane. I've got even a little bird in the distance. I think it's too big for this composition, honestly. So we have to think about the sizes, okay? Like the size of the bird compare to this tiny bird compared to the size of my crane, because it would be much smaller. So where would it fit? Okay, so maybe some reeds. Where would the temple, Japanese temple sit? Okay, perhaps a smaller bird somewhere in the tree in the distance would be nice. Also, how will I leave enough space for that sun? Maybe I cut out a sun here somewhere too. Maybe the sun would look better all the way in the corner, further away. Okay, maybe you want to put it down here somewhere, setting down somewhere. So think about your composition, how you want to situate your painting. Okay, do you wanna you put the sun right behind his head? Okay, so that's something to think about as far as composition and to achieve harmony. But right now we're going to do step-by-step crane and practice some brush strokes. So how about we learn how to step-by-step draw our crane, and I'll have here one example, and then I will have this so you can look at it like so in the middle. Okay, so the first step, the head and the beak. Okay, so let's load our brush carefully. So dip it in the water and dip in the water, and we're gonna dance very gently our brush on the tempera cake, and then rinse some off, add some little more water, and just start with just practicing that tip. You want to have that sharp tip. Can you see that? And start with really low concentration of the black, so we want to have a little bit of gray only on our brush, just for practice, so it's very thin. And you could also try to use it with a liner brush too, especially for the beak, if you're scared using the bigger brush, but I'll show you both ways. So step one, we're gonna work on the beak. I'll just situate my crane somewhere here, so in the second half, maybe 1 palm down, I'll put my eye here, start with the eye, and now I'm going to make a straight diagonal line, and underneath there's sort of like a triangle connecting. I am going to make a little beak, and around there from the head I'm going to make a round little cap for my crane, and I am going to swish, come down a little bit for the neck. Now I can do it a little darker. If I like the beak, I can highlight the parts I like and go over the ones I don't like. Okay, I made that a little bit darker, and maybe I'll give him that little crown on top. Now I'm going to give a little smiley face right here, curvy, but not too much, and I'm gonna switch down, coming down like a sort of like letter S, curvature and letter S for the necks and the breast. And I'm gonna elongate this beautiful long neck for the crane. For the step 3, I'm gonna start working on the wing. So I'm gonna actually pre-draw it, doing tiny little strokes, really thin strokes, and I'm making like strokes going up this way, and I'm kind of measuring it down how I want it. So I'm using very light colors, as you can see, barely any water, maybe just water a little bit for my wing, and I'm making these really long. Okay, now I'm going to add a little more color for the body here, just water really, elongating that belly of my crane and starting to visualize how my tail is going to go. So I'm going to place mine going down this way. I think I made the wing a little bit too high. It should have been a little bit lower on the neckline. So what I can do is I can load up my brush a little darker, and I can accentuate the wing more like this, bringing it down this way, and I'm not going to worry about that in the back. Now step 4, I am going to do the legs. So I have to decide where my legs are going to be placed. Let's put them right underneath the wing somewhere here, and maybe one is going to be bended over like so, and one is going to be straight. Okay, now we have to fix the belly in step number 6. We want to add maybe some textures and simple lines coming here, deciding how the belly is going to connect to the thighs of the legs. And we're going to finish also outlining the wing and the tail. That was a step 5. I'm going to put more wings on the tail. At this point, we should be done with that part, and now we're going to decide where we want to place our sun. So let's think about it again. It would be nice to also have 2 of them somewhere, maybe 2 cranes, so we can practice one more time with the crane. Maybe a little pagoda Japanese temple here somewhere. Maybe I want to do some water first for my crane. Or maybe I want to do some reeds for my crane. So let's try some reed grass for our crane first. I am going to make skinny lines. And I'm going to kind of imagine that he is inside of a marsh. So I'm going to put lines for the reed grass. And I'm going to push down on those reed grasses. Push down and make them thicker right here. Push down. The heads of the reed grass. And now I'm going to give, and you want it's kind of oblong, so you can fix the tops to be a little bit rounder. Okay, now we want to do the long leaf. So I touch and I push down, I touch and I push down, touch and I push down, touch, push down. Reload your brush so you have enough water, and you're barely touching you're making skinny line, then you're pushing down, skinny line and pushing down, skinny line and pushing down, skinny line and pushing down. Okay, so Japanese art usually has that red touches of red. We can do a little red on top of our crane. We in Florida have a sandhill cranes with the beautiful red crown here. And we can do our sunset moon wherever you like to place it. I'm just doing half circles. And I'm doing soft lines first, and I can always outline it darker. This looks like a piece of fruit. So when you are painting it, be careful to make a nice little circle, and you can blend one half a little darker and leave the other one still lighter like you started, and it's gonna look like more 3D. Okay, so in this composition, maybe I'm gonna add a couple of those marshmallow plants, maybe here to the bottom, and I'm pushing down, going in around the clock a couple of times, creating simple little flower, 5 petals. Okay, like that, complementing our crane, giving it harmony. So you think where your marshmallow plants should be. Okay, so it's just touch, 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 touch. Okay, a few little marshmallow plants. At this point, I think I'd like some water, so I'm not going to put any ink. I'm just going to use my dirty water, and I'm just going to start imagining how the water will flow here. He's in the marsh, and I am going to add some water. Maybe I did it too deep. Maybe don't go that high. You might want to be a little lower. Okay, and think about the placement. Maybe I'm thinking in the back it would be okay to have some, same as with the water, a little darker plant life, that it doesn't have to be so defined. It just lives there. Maybe even couple is covering my sun. So it might be a little bamboo-like tree coming off from the side, covering my sun from the side. And I'm doing simple stroke, the same stroke I've been doing the whole time, but now I'm using a darker color because it's in the front and the other plants were in the back. So think about that placement too. Okay. And so if you want the little padoga, I can do one for you so you can think about, you know, if you want to place it somewhere. I think I'm gonna put it somewhere in the distance. Let me think where I want to put it. I'll put it on top of these reeds somewhere, and it's gonna just be in the dark, so I'm gonna use the light color. I'm not gonna put any color here. It's just gonna be like a shadow of a padoga, and I'm gonna put little roof on it, shadow of building, another roof, like so. And I think I'm breaking my principle. It was too much. I feel like I'm glad I did like really light colors, because I can just overpaint it with some reeds, because it would have been too much and too crowded. So I don't think I'm gonna do a padoga there. I can teach you how to do a padoga on a new piece of paper. Okay, and I'm gonna keep that in so that we don't crowd our space with too much stuff. So we can do a little padoga. If you have space in your painting, okay, I'm gonna go do a little building like so with a roof, simple stroke, and go down again, a little wider building, and come down, and we have a simple little padoga, and you can shade it in with just the water. Now that it's pre-sketched, you can do darker tones to do some details and go over it and make it two-tone. Okay, so that's all we have for today. Now it's your turn, and I'll see you in our next art class.